I'm going to mute everyone. Okay. And let me see if I can figure out how to. Okay, we're just going to do it this way. All right, guys, I want to thank you for being on the call. I'm excited that I see so many of you here tonight. And I'm just really proud of all of you guys and all the hard work you're doing. And I hope for those of you that are in the Shakeology group that you're having fun and enjoying it. I definitely am. That new flavor, the tropical strawberry, was new to me today, and I really liked it. It was like strawberry bubble gum. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to start off with just kind of saying this. As I was looking at some of the things you guys wanted me to cover tonight, some of the things that you kind of maybe feel like you're struggling with a little bit, I wanted to kind of plant this seed in your mind, first of all, or kind of ease your worries a little bit in telling you that these things that you're telling me that you struggle with, I don't know, I don't think you're necessarily struggling with them. I just think that this is something that as a coach, these things are things that as a coach are tough to deal with. And they are things that all coaches face. Things like price objection, or having trouble closing the deal, or talking to people and then hearing crickets. Those are things that all coaches have to deal with. And you might kind of feel like you're a failure in having, presented all this information to someone, and then there's nothing. There's no nothing. There's just crickets. But I want to tell you that you're not a failure, okay? In fact, like any coach that's ever coached ever has to deal with that type of stuff. So I don't think that these things that we're covering are things that are new, are things that are strange or uncommon. These are things that all coaches struggle with. So know that you're normal in feeling like this is a struggle for you. I know these are all things that I still struggle with, so I'm no expert when I'm talking to you guys about these things, but I'm here to kind of just ease your mind and let you know that we all have struggles, and even the top coaches have struggles. Like think about some of these top coaches. I don't know if you listened to the call from yesterday, but Lindsay Matway just made Superstar Diamond for the 4th time. It's insane. So think about how many times she has had price objections, or trouble closing the deal, or had, people show interest and then not reply to her. More times than we can probably count. It would be insane. So just know that your struggles are normal, okay? First of all. So I'm just going to jump right into it, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of time at the end if anyone has questions. And I hope that I say something tonight that kind of sticks with you that you can use moving forward. All right, so first of all, I'm just going to kind of do like a potpourri of topics, since that's you guys kind of gave me a list of different things. With conversations, I know Becky mentioned that when she's having these conversations with people, it just takes up a lot of time, and she's wondering, am I doing something wrong? Like, why is this taking so much time? And I think that you have to look at it this way. We are in the relationship building business, and we have to build trust with the people that we are talking with before they are going to invest in us as a coach, okay? So I say this a lot. Sometimes we have to invest in people before they're willing to invest in us. So we're investing our time in them, our time in having conversations with them. And if we're showing genuine interest in them, then it does take time. And I know that, we are told if you do your power hour that you can grow a business, and that is definitely true. But you have to take a look at your power hour and see what you're doing and decide for yourself if you're taking on too much or too little. If you're feeling like it's taking way too much time with the amount of conversations you're having, then maybe you need to consider cutting back just a little bit. You just have to know that if you're going to do that, that might, affect your Success Club. It might affect the number of people that you're reaching and that type of thing. So you just, you guys know I'm a big proponent of being, using your time wisely and being efficient with your time. So you just really have to evaluate how much time you're spending and figure out if that aligns with your goals. The higher your goals, the more time you're going to be spending. I spend a lot more time on the business now than I did whenever I first started, but my goals are a lot different now too. So kind of do that self-check. Are my goals, is the time that I'm spending in alignment with the goals that I have for myself? But genuine conversations with people are just going to take time. They are. Look at how you are structuring your day. I know Stephanie suggested, or someone suggested, maybe Jelaine, I think, maybe splitting up the tasks throughout the day. I absolutely do that. I mean, I have my power of threes that I go through, but I do certain parts of the power of threes throughout different points in the day. And I have one specific time block during the day where really all I'm doing is messaging people and moving my business to the next, moving my business forward through the conversations that I'm having. So I'm doing all of those other tidbits at different points in the day. Some suggestions that I do have would be to consider, if you want to kind of expedite the process, make it faster, consider using the voice memo. I think, that's a little bit more of a personalized touch, and it can be faster. And again, splitting up the time so that you're doing, say you're adding your new friends and liking and commenting on posts at one point in time in the day, and then later in the day, you go and all you do is check your messages. There is, and I can't remember exactly, I can find out for sure, but there is a website that you can go to linked through Facebook, but it's strictly Messenger. So it might be just messenger.com or facebook.messenger.com, something like that. I can find it for sure. But Heather, who is Tara's assistant, was telling me about it. You can go to that website and you can be logged into your messages, but you're not logged into the whole Facebook page. So you can be really focused and intentional about that block of time because you're only focused on the messages. And she's recommended that would really help in terms of not getting distracted with the notifications and that type of stuff. So that might be something to check into or consider. Someone mentioned setting a timer. I think that's a great idea. Another thing, and I know this is a fault of my own, but I am a true perfectionist in every area of life, even in conversations. So I'm kind of a grammar Nazi. I reread everything I type to make sure it looks right, sounds right, and all of that stuff. But you guys, when you're having back and forth conversations with someone, that probably isn't the best use of your time, to be honest. I mean, if someone's going to choose to not work with you as a coach because you have some grammar errors, then maybe they're not the right person for you. So just evaluate the time. Danny, I see you smiling. I know how you are. Evaluate, the things that you're spending your time on and decide, is this something that's really important in the grand scheme of things? So those would be my suggestions there. Elizabeth, I saw you say something. Love voice memo. Yes, a lot of people don't know that it's there. And love, they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know this was a feature. It was so nice to hear your voice. Waiting and waiting for it to load. Clicked on it last week's link. LOL. Brittany, I'm not sure what you're saying. Can you clarify? Okay. So I'm going to move on since, okay. No problem. She's like, I'm late. Sorry. It's no big deal. All right. Invites. I'm going to move on to invites. And I'm kind of going to I'm trying to go through this in kind of a order that makes sense. So with invites, how to not be salesy and not be fake, and just to present an invite in a way that's, just that, not salesy or fake. Tara touched on this last week in the call, and I really do apologize that I still don't have that link. That's the other girl that was helping me host it has it on her computer, and I haven't heard back from her. So anyway, just when you're inviting, when you're talking with people, you just have to be yourself. That is number one, the most important thing. You have to be yourself. So don't overthink it. I think sometimes we overthink it. You're having a conversation with someone, and when you see there's an opportunity to invite them, it's just a simple, hey girl, I can totally relate to that. I have trouble staying on track too. Do you know what's helped me? These accountability groups that I run. Would you be interested in learning more information about it? Ending with a question. I always ask people that, and I don't know if you heard me say this, but are you interested in learning more? Not, are you interested in joining me? Are you interested in jumping in the group? Are you interested in buying a challenge pack? No. Are you interested in learning more information? Why? Because that is way less intimidating, and it's a much less of a commitment when you ask if they're willing or interested in learning more. It's much less of a commitment than saying, agreeing to be a part of a group. So ask them if they want to learn more, and do it casually. It doesn't have to be this big grand production. It's just a casual invite. And then a lot of times what I'll do in this message that I'm sending is I will extend the invite. I'll end it with, are you interested? Would you be interested in learning more about the group? And then I will take it back to something personal, something that's going on in their life, or, I don't know, something personal. End with something personal with another question that prompts them to reply. So you're extending the invite, but it's not like the sole purpose of your message, and it's not like that's all you're out for, like you're extending the invite and then you're taking it back to personal level, and you're showing them that you care about them on a personal level and not just whether or not they're going to buy something from you. Those would be my suggestions in terms of inviting. But the most important thing, you guys, is just to be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not. Just be yourself. And like I said, for me, I've noticed the most when I do it casually, when I show interest in them, not just in getting them to join me in a group, I have more success. And ending with a question, always, so they're prompted to reply. In terms of not being fake, not being salesy, once you get to the point where you have some type of fitness-like page and you are drawing new people in that way, it becomes a little bit easier in a sense, because they're already at your page for a purpose. They're following you because they want to learn more about health and fitness. So when you're talking to those people, that fear of being fake or salesy kind of goes away, because you already know that their intention is to be there with you, learning from you about health and fitness. So just keep that in mind. I mentioned at some point, I don't know, it all runs together in my mind, but I mentioned at some point that I have that process that I go through. Once I ask someone if they're interested in learning more information and they say yes, I immediately go to that script document and I start going through that. As soon as they say they're interested, I go to that and I just copy and paste and start sending that information to them one piece at a time. And so I posted that document in our push group. So if you have not taken a look at that, definitely do. I also posted a couple other documents from top leaders, top coaches, and the way that their invite process. So definitely look at that and go through that and develop your own system. It's a step-by-step process to make sure that you are covering all the bases. So as soon as you invite them and they say, yes, I'm interested in more information, you immediately go, it's like your knee-jerk reaction to go to that script and start working through it with them. And I do think whenever you are able to get to that point, like Becky said, it takes a lot of time having these conversations, but when you're able to get to that point, and it's kind of this process that you're going through, it's not as time consuming. So those conversations that you're having that are taking a lot of time, if you create that process or that script for yourself and have that for when you get to that point with people, it saves a lot of time. New coaches, I wanted to talk to you for just a second. When it comes to inviting, if you're a brand new coach or you've been a coach for a couple months, I hope that you have made a list of all of your close friends and family. I think I can't remember in Tara's training if they have you make a list of like 100 people or what it is, but make a list of your close friends and family. And the first people you should be reaching out to are those close friends and family that know you, trust you, love you, and know that you're not out to just make a buck or to just earn some money or whatever. They trust you and know that you have the best intentions in mind. So if you haven't done that, definitely do that. You know, when I started out as a coach, my first month, I made a list of my best friends, like my best friends, my sister, my neighbor, some people that were really close to me. And I reached out to them through email right away. I just kind of told them I was a coach and told them I would love for them to join me. This has changed my life, and I would love to help anybody who's interested. And so that's how I filled my first group, was my close friends and family, people that know me and love me and support me, okay? So if you haven't done that, definitely do that. And then the other thing, the other suggestion that I have for all of you in terms of inviting is ask for referrals. When you have someone who's telling you they have loved your group and it has helped them so much, I always, 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 always say, you know, something along the lines of, that makes me so happy. You know, sometimes the letters that I get or the notes that I get from people literally bring me to tears. And if they do, I'll tell people that. You know, it's very touching whenever you're able to help people in their life make that big of an impact. And I always say, you know, the highest compliment you could pay me is to refer me to someone that could benefit from this experience. Don't be afraid to ask that, because if they have loved this experience as much as they're telling you, they will have no problem recommending you to someone else. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you're asking for referrals. And when you do that, that makes the invite process that much easier, because they have, you know, just think like your best friend. Whenever they say, oh my God, you gotta go try this new restaurant, it's amazing. You don't question it. You're like, well, okay, I gotta go try this new restaurant. She said it was amazing. So you have instant credibility with those people. And then that invite process is so much easier. So if you're able to get a couple of referrals every month, you know, it just makes it that much easier for you to fill your groups, to hit Success Club and all of that. And I have started with my groups. I do 4-week groups, and at the end of 4 weeks, I give them 3 options. You can A, go off on your own if you feel like you want to spread your wings and fly and you're good to go. B, you can join me for my next group, which starts on date XYZ. Or C, and this is my favorite option, you can join my community. You can become a coach. There are lots of different types of coaches, and you know, you provide yourself with constant accountability doing that. But what I want to point out is choice B. If they say, I still need your help and I want to do the next group with you, I say, that's awesome. I would love to support you again. I'm excited to have you in the next group. Do you know of anyone that could benefit from joining us? So, and I would say, I have started asking the people, my returning friends, or how do I put that? Returning challengers or whatever. I've started asking my returning challengers to invite a friend to join us because, and I explain why. There's nothing wrong with this. I explain why. I want to help as many people as possible, and you are a vital resource for me in helping me reach more people, or something simple like that. But just tell them why you are asking for the referral. And like I said, if they're wanting to continue with you, then they obviously love the experience and are going to have no problem inviting a couple of friends. Now, let me just give you a little side note here. Obviously, that's not always going to work. You're not always going to get referrals from everyone. But I have had referrals that have led to challenge packs. I've had referrals that have led to discount coaches. So you just never know unless you ask, okay? Okay, closing the deal. Sorry, all this talking makes me thirsty. With closing the deal, if you have some type of script or some type of process that you're going through with people, which I hope that you do, or I hope that you're working on developing, that has helped me tremendously in terms of making sure in the conversations that I'm having that I'm covering all the bases. But if you have that script and you're going through that process with people and you're having trouble closing the deal, you need to take a look at the conversations you're having and try to pinpoint where you're losing people in that process. You know, sometimes we have to be reflective about what we're doing and figure out where in the process we're getting hung up. But hopefully you have a process, and hopefully it's working for you at least some of the time. You know, I wish I had some statistics on like, this is how many conversations I have, this is how many that lead to sharing information, and this is how many that lead to actually buying challenge packs. I wish I had some information like that for you to share, just so you could have an idea of how, like, what normal is. But I would say, I'm gonna guess like 10%, guys. 10% of the people I talk to end up joining me in a challenge group or with a challenge pack. That would be my guess. 10 to 25%, somewhere in there. But in that process that you're going through, I hope that you are not leading with price. And this is why. If you're leading with price, people are going to have sticker shock, right? I think that's the term, sticker shock, price shock. I don't know. Anyway, people are going to be like, whoa, because they have no earthly idea what they're getting for that money. Okay, so don't ever start with the price. Even if they ask you, what's the price? You don't give it to them. You say, well, the price varies depending on what program you choose and what package you choose. There are different options. So we'll get to that point. And I always tell people, I have like a step-by-step process I go through with each of the people I'm just working with to make sure that we cover all the bases and make sure that you get all of the information you need to make the best decision for yourself. Are you cool with going through that process with me? I say that to people, and they're absolutely like, yes, because they know, they feel like you truly care about making sure they're knowledgeable in what's going on so that they can make the best decision for themselves. But do not lead with price. So you start by explaining what the challenge group is, what it entails, and you say, do you think that could benefit you? Then you ask some questions to figure out what type of stuff, what type of exercise that appeals to them, how much time they want to spend on it, do they need help with nutrition, that type of stuff. You ask those questions to get an idea so you can make some recommendations. So then you give them some recommendations and they choose which one they want to try. Then you give them some information on Shakeology. I have a video that I send, and it's been extremely effective for me. And it's easy to send a video link versus, and it's more effective because people can see me and hear me and see the passion I have for it and the belief that I have for it so much more than if they were just reading some words. So I send the video. Yay, Elizabeth, that's awesome. So I send the video, and then they basically let me know if they're ready for the challenge pack or not. And then before I ever send price, I say, okay, so with this option, you're gonna get this and this and this and this, and I literally make a laundry list of every last tiny thing they're gonna get in my group with me. I talk about what they get in the challenge pack. I talk about all the way down to you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. I talk about here's what I'm gonna help you with in the challenge group, the Getting Started Right week. We're going to share recipes. We're going to do this. We're going to have a mini challenge. We're going to do this. At the end of all of this, you can enter your results and get a free t-shirt. Like, I literally list everything that they're going to get. And then I say, so this package is XYZ amount of dollars. Do you feel comfortable making that investment? Something like that. And most of the time, if you get all the way through this process to this point with those people, they're like, hell yeah, I'm ready, because that is like an amazing value for that money. Okay, so that is the way I approach it. Now, guys, listen, there are so many times where I lose people somewhere along the point in that process. I don't know if saying lose people is the right way to put it, but people just, like Danny said, you present the information and then they don't reply. Or, they say, I'd changed my mind, now it's not a good time, or whatever. You get part of the way through the process with someone and for some reason it doesn't work out. It's normal. It happens all the time. And 9 times out of 10 has nothing to do with you or how you presented it. It has to do with them and the situation they're in. Maybe financial, maybe it's not the right time. Maybe they're not motivated and ready to make this commitment. Whatever it is, most of the time it's about them. But what you do is you hang on to that name. You don't just let it drift off and just be gone forever. You hang on to the name and you put it in your calendar 2 weeks from now, a month from now, whatever, and you, at that point in time, go back and show genuine interest in them again, and you start the process over, okay? You're gonna have, oh, yay. Danny, I just saw I've had several people who said no, but at some point sent them the video and they changed their mind. Yes, Alicia's talking about the Shakeology video. Absolutely. One time I sent the video to Late, she was like, I'm not interested in the shakes. They're too expensive. And I literally said to the lady, well, I'm going to send you the video anyway because I like for people to have the information, even if it's just for future reference. Sent her the video and she got back to me like a couple hours later and was like, I loved your video. I changed my mind. So seriously, you have to present the information, and making one of those videos is key. And if you guys want to see my Shakeology video, dude, it is not like super fancy at all. I look terrible. I think I did it right after I worked out, but it works. So I will share it with you if you guys want to see it. Do you have people who have said yes and you send them the Coach Mobile enrollment and then they never buy? Yes, Steph, I will share that link. You know what? Sometimes with that coach enrollment thing, I just have people who never get the email. So I always check back with them and see, did you ever get the email? And sometimes that's the hang up. Okay, I totally lost my train of thought. So sometimes you're gonna lose people in that process, and that's normal, but you hang on to the name and you put them in your calendar to follow back up with at a later date. And you don't even necessarily need to say, hey, wanted to check back with you on this. But you just send them a message showing interest in how they're doing. Okay, we have 10 minutes. Sometimes I will follow up with them and say, hey, last month you showed interest in this group. You told me XYZ. Like, you told me you wanted to lose weight so that you would feel better for the summer. Just wanted to follow up with you to see how you're doing. I'm just trying to, support you in making those changes or something like that. Remind them of what they wanted, what they told you they wanted. And don't be afraid to do that follow-up, because basically you're doing what they asked you to do. You're doing what, they opened up to you and said, these are my goals, and you're trying to provide that help. So don't shy away from doing those follow-ups. Remind them of what they told you and be like, showing genuine interest, just be like, I would really love to support you in helping you make those changes, or however you want to put it. And then the other thing is, if I hear crickets, Danny, for me, sometimes I will follow up. Hey, did you get a chance to check out that information? Just wanted to follow up with you. If they still don't reply, I'll send another message and show genuine concern. Hey girl, I know you were really excited about XYZ and I haven't heard from you. Is everything okay? Is there something wrong? Because sometimes if you just show that genuine concern, they're like, oh my God, I'm freaking her out. I'll get back to her. So those would be my suggestions there. The other thing that I will say is, if you have a person that has shown interest in something and then they fall off the face of the earth and don't reply to any of your messages, but are still liking and commenting on your posts, send them a thank you, because people love to feel appreciated. Send them a thank you saying, hey, I've seen that you have liked several of my fitness and nutrition related posts, and I just want to thank you for your support. And then end with a question, how are you doing, or something like that. And sometimes that's all it takes, is just showing a little appreciation for their support. Price objections. If you're providing all of that value, like I mentioned, if you're listing out that laundry list of stuff they're going to get when they join you, and they're still objecting to the price, I don't think it's anything on you. I don't think it's anything that you did wrong. I think it's them not being willing to invest, or maybe them not being at the right point and willing to commit. You know, you have to remember that it's not always about us. It's not necessarily always we're doing something wrong. A lot of times this isn't right for them at this point. You have to remember that. And I mean, that's just really how I look at it. The people that tell me no, I don't let it get to me at all anymore. And if someone tells me no, in the back of my mind, I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm going to see that person again down the road when the time is right. And so often I do. So often. So, I mean, sometimes you just have to prove to these people that you're sticking around. You're not going anywhere. You're going to continue to coach. You're going to continue to be there. And sometimes it just takes you proving that you're not going anywhere for them to be ready. But if you're having price objections, that's what I would say. The other thing I would say is you need to take a look at the target market, or the people that you're drawing in. Because if you are, and in this small town of Perryville, I have drawn into my page a lot of really young girls, like young girls in college, young girls right out of college, or like 50 to 60 years, and even older than that, women who are very stuck in their ways and not necessarily willing to make the changes, you know. So you have to look at the audience that you're talking to. If you are talking to really young college girls, then of course they're going to have price objections, because they're broke as a joke. We all are in college, you know. So you got to make sure you're talking to the right market, and that can be hard. It is hard to tap into that, but it's just something you just have to continue to work at. So that's what I would say about that. Let's see. I think that's all I have on my list. So I'm going to open it up for questions. We have 5 minutes if anyone has questions. Danny says, it's that kind of, Danny, what am I going to lose if she doesn't want to talk to me? Elizabeth, and then prove to them that you're not going to shove something at them if it's not the right time for them. Yes, yes. Prove to them that you have the right intentions. You know, like, just be a normal person. Don't be a pest. Don't be annoying. You guys, I mean, we're all normal people. So if you look at the conversation you're having, and if you're genuinely like, I wouldn't be annoyed if I got this message, then it probably isn't annoying. You're probably not bothering them. You're probably not being fake or salesy, you know, like, so let me unmute you guys. I swear I have the hardest time remembering how to do this. Okay. Unmute all. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I hope something I said was helpful. Okay, I don't know how to unmute you all, but if you have question, unmute yourself. Oh wait, did I do it? No. Anybody?
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so how do you start conversations with people you've added on Facebook, but you really don't know them at all? You really haven't talked to them, and they never post on Facebook to even give you something to start with. Do you kind of skip them, or do you just send some type of message?
Are these people you're getting from your like page, or are these people you are just adding as friends that you know?
These are people I'm just adding because we have a lot of mutual friends, or, you know, I've seen them before but really don't have a relationship with them.
Yeah. It kind of depends for me. So like, recently I added this one chick who I know is a parent of another kindergartner. So we had that kind of in common. And so I started a message and sent her and just said something about, you know, we just moved back to the area about a year ago, and I just kind of wanted to get to know some of the parents of the kids in my class. So if you have something in common with them that you could use as a talking point, you could do that. It is really hard whenever they don't have any posts. Are they liking your stuff, commenting on your stuff at all?
No.
No, not necessarily.
I'm just going through my friends list trying to start
Gotcha.
conversations. That's where this is coming from.
Gotcha. Yeah, it is kind of awkward whenever you don't know the person like personally. I haven't, to be completely honest, I haven't done a whole lot of reaching out to those type of people. Like usually I either have something in common with the person I can talk to them about, or I talk to them about something that they have posted, or I thank them for liking or commenting on something of mine. Those are kind of the things that I go with if I'm sending a message, or a happy birthday, whenever their birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you have nothing to say to them other than I'm a Beachbody coach, I don't know if I would recommend that, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe I'll just put them on the back burner and move on.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not sure if that was helpful, but.
No, you're good.
Anybody else? We have less than a minute. Okay, so I'll just wrap up. Thank you guys for being on the call. Like I said, that was kind of a hodgepodge of stuff to cover. And one thing that I do want to recommend, if there is an area that you really feel you are struggling with, like really reach out to your upline coach first of all and talk with them. The other thing you can do is search on Tara's page. There's a search engine. You can search and tons of stuff will come up. If you say closing the deal or whatever, you should be able to search that and see if anything comes up. The other thing you can do is go on YouTube, Beachbody closing the deal, or however you want to search it, but learn from those top coaches. There is so much stuff on YouTube that you can tap into. So just know that we can help you as your upline coaches, but you can take that initiative yourself and go search out some awesome videos from some of the top coaches, because they might have things to say or recommendations that I wouldn't, or we wouldn't, because a lot of them have a lot more experience than I do. So definitely tap into that. But thank you for being on the call. I will get this posted tomorrow on the team page or in our push group. Please comment below once I get that posted to let me know if you have any questions.